Let's dive right in. One of the most intriguing results from this paper is how sentences in Chinese can have empty spots that still convey full meaning. Like in a sentence where you say, I like it, but it is completely absent. This challenges our understanding of how language structures work without explicit words.
Exactly, and this is accomplished through what's called empty categories, which are like invisible placeholders in a sentence. Think of them as ghosts in a haunted house. They're not physically there, but they influence the flow. The paper builds on Chomsky's ideas, where these empties include things like pro or traces. But here, it's about a true empty category as a last resort to satisfy the verb's needs, almost like borrowing a tool from the toolbox only when nothing else fits.
Another interesting result is that the paper questions this true empty category by showing it might not be necessary. For instance, in topicalization, where you move a phrase to the front of the sentence, the empty object can still make sense without inventing a new type of empty category. It's like discovering that what you thought was a unique puzzle piece actually fits with the existing ones.
Right, the process behind this involves a base-generated covert topic, which is essentially a hidden element that binds to a pro in the sentence. Imagine it as an unseen conductor in an orchestra, guiding the instruments without being in the spotlight. This way, the empty position gets its meaning from the context, following rules like the generalized control rule, which co-indexes the empty element with the nearest nominal. Kind of like linking train cars to keep the whole thing moving smoothly.
Building on that, the paper highlights how this approach explains phenomena like island constraints in topicalization. A key result is that empty objects can connect to elements outside these islands, restricted areas in a sentence, without needing a true empty category. It's fascinating because it shows language has built-in workarounds, like finding a secret path around a blocked road.
Absolutely, and the method relies on this covert topic licensing itself by binding to a pro, which avoids contradictions with binding conditions. To simplify, it's like using a magnet to pull together parts of a sentence that seem disconnected. Pro ensures the empty spot refers correctly, much like how a pronoun in English points back to its antecedent. This keeps the sentence grammatically sound without overcomplicating things with new categories.
One more compelling result is the paper's take on subject-object asymmetry and argument ellipsis. It argues that these can be accounted for through existing mechanisms, revealing that what looked like gaps in our linguistic toolkit might just be clever uses of what's already there, like repurposing a Swiss Army knife for multiple tasks.
Yes, the process involves interpreting the empty category at a deeper level, where it's replaced by context from the discourse. Picture it as filling in a blank in a story based on what's come before. It's a last resort option that aligns with universal grammar principles, ensuring the sentence's meaning emerges naturally, without forcing in a new element.
In wrapping this up, the key takeaway is that while the true empty category hypothesis offers an ingenious way to handle tricky empty positions, the paper shows we can explain these with standard tools like covert topics and pro. This could reshape how we think about universal grammar, making language studies more streamlined and insightful.
Exactly. It emphasizes the elegance of existing linguistic frameworks, potentially impacting how we model language processing. For us in ML research, it's a reminder that sometimes complex problems can be solved with simpler, underlying patterns, just like optimizing a neural network by refining connections rather than adding new layers.